WVON.
Every day you're walking by and I can see how you shine. Here I am alone with nothing but a dream that you are mine. Just exactly what I'll do, I don't know, baby, but I gotta find a way to reach you. Tell me what I gotta do to get to your house. Tell me where I gotta go to be with you. Tell me what I gotta say to speak to your heart. Tell me what I need to know tonight.
Keep your eyes on the road and both hands on the steering wheel. We will not be held responsible for any accidents. It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
The Audio Genius.
Get in on the conversation with Rufus Williams and the Morning Show at 591-1690. We are the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Good morning, and welcome to Wednesday. It is the 11th of February, the year 2026. It's the Rufus Williams Show. I am Rufus Williams, and as always, thrilled, excited, and delighted to be here with you this morning. And thank you so much for waking up with Rufus. Titus, you're in a good mood this morning.
I am.
BJ would like for you to turn up the mic when you sing the song tomorrow.
I got it.
Yeah, she really wants to hear that. I saw something this morning I haven't seen in a while at this time.
Was it the sun?
It was 6:17. I'm driving down DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and there's a sunrise, nice and orange across the lakefront.
Okay.
Spring is coming.
It's coming. I'm happy.
It's a little chillier than it was yesterday, but man, the sun is nothing like it. And then we get daylight savings time sometime in the next month or so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
This is going to be good. This is going to be good. Things are starting to looking up indeed. Yesterday was a tough day, a good day, tough day. It was a lot going on. Some hope came when they, were able to go back. Technology is something, and find these videos of this guy outside of Nancy Guthrie's house. And they said Google had a lot to do with being able to go back and get this, but it tells you a lot of things. One, they're going to solve this. I hope she's still okay, but they're going to solve this. They did pick up someone and let him go yesterday. They picked up the wrong guy. He said, look, I hope they find him. It wasn't me. But they're with these videos from going from having absolutely nothing to now having this really does something to try and help the situation. So we continue to pray for Savannah Guthrie and her family. Hope that her mom is good. She's 84 years old. And why someone would do this to an octogenarian, why someone would do this to someone's mom, what that entire situation was, we don't, it's just troubling. We saw the video of the guy in the house. We saw him looking to cover up the cameras outside. We've seen a lot of things, but it's just unimaginable what has happened in this situation. And it's been well over a week. So we are praying for them and for a positive outcome. And then something, I don't know why these things continue to happen. We don't have a lot of information about the perpetrator, the reason, or anything else. But shock in Canada yesterday after 9 people there were killed in a mass shooting, the country's deadliest school shooting in decades. There's an area called Tumbler Ridge. It's a remote mountain town in British Columbia where at least 7 victims were killed at a high school, and 2 other people are dead. They were found dead at a residence that they think is connected to the incident. Dozens more were injured. Many are serious and life-threatening injuries. These are some of the places where people are where you just think life just goes on. But whatever this is that causes people to act out in this way is just problematic. And it happens everywhere, and it happens anytime. And it just continually reminds us that none of us is safe in this regard. But again, to wake up to hear about a mass shooting is problematic. To hear about a mass shooting at a school is even more problematic. I'm perpetually reminded, and I really do pray to God that these stop and it never happens. But I was at the Congressional Black Caucus in DC on a panel, and the conversation turned to metal detectors in schools. And one of the panelists I was on with, when they asked the question, said we shouldn't have them. It makes our students feel like they're going through some criminal process. Well, one, we have them at the airport. And two, in my position then and now is we fortunately have not had school shootings here in Chicago Public Schools. And as long as going through the metal detector can deter that, then we should have them. I pray that it continues to be the case, but it's always problematic when it happens anytime and anywhere. It's just a very, very bad situation. There is, and for whatever, something's happening down in El Paso, Texas, because they have now elevated flight restrictions there. We don't know why, we don't know what. The FAA said pilots who violate this restriction might be intercepted, they might be detained, and the U.S. government may in fact use deadly force if an aircraft comes through and poses imminent threat. So there's a substantial problem there. I think you heard, I heard Cleopatra talk about it some yesterday, but this governor's conference where they had clearly disinvited Wes Moore. Wes Moore is the only Black governor, and Wes Moore's comment was pretty clear that, look, if I'm not there, then the meeting is incomplete. He may actually be one of the sharpest governors that we have. He certainly is one of them. What I understand now is that they've decided not to hold the meeting. So it was clearly some people on the Republican side, Trump, who uninvited Wes, and now there they are. So good to see that finally they're starting to get some teeth and starting to push back on some things as they should. But we find ourselves in just a very interesting, difficult, and precarious circumstance. Undoubtedly on Friday, Joy Reid and I will talk about that some. We'll talk about a lot of things when we're out at St. Sabina. Hopefully you'll be there in the house. Thankful to Father Flager for inviting her there and allowing me to sit with her in this fireside chat, which you heard some of it on Monday, and more of it will pick up then. Today, the mayor is going to be at the City Club. Mayor Brandon Johnson will be speaking at the City Club. And as City Club goes, you have a speaker and then you have Q&A after that. And guess who's doing the Q&A today? Yep, this guy. This guy is. So in these streets, got a lot going on, a lot of good people to talk with, a lot of good information to bring back to you. Hopefully you'll be able to check in. But let's do this. If you've got some questions that you think that I should ask the mayor at City Club today, we won't be on WVON, not this time, but he's always here, so he'll be back. But if there's something that you think we should address, hit me, Rufus at WVON.com, put it up on the Facebook page. I'll try to make sure I carry forward what your thoughts and concerns are. Let me take a quick break. It's Wednesday. Valentine's Day is coming up. St. Sabina is coming up. I'm chatting with the mayor coming up. There's a lot going on. It's Black History Month. Let us not ever forget that. We'll be back right after this.
More of the morning show with Rufus Williams coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Faces frozen in time, stories that end with no justice. I am Cleopatra Draper, host of The Cleopatra Show, and I'm not letting them be forgotten. Help Find My Killer is where we revisit the cold cases of Black men, women, and children whose lives were stolen. Cases where killers were never brought to justice. Every Thursday, we'll hear from families who are still grieving, investigators who are still searching, and a community that refuses to give up hope. Because silence protects the guilty, and we will not be silent. Help Find My Killer every Thursday on The Cleopatra Show, exclusively on WVON 1690 AM.
Find My Killer Thursdays on The Cleopatra Show. Let us help you find justice for your loved one.
Email executive producer Sonia Walls at sonia@wvon.com. That's SUNYA@WVON.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
It's tax time, y'all. If you want to file free, this next one's for you.
Now taxes is so free. Tax free edition only. Roughly 37% of filings qualify. Simple form 1040 returns only. Now this is tax.
Love that jam. Up next, commercials.
And to get TurboTax free edition, see if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
Attention nonprofit organizations. In times of crisis, communication and community are critical. That's why WVON is partnering with the Chicago Community Trust, a philanthropic organization to help local nonprofits respond effectively during crisis moments. We'll be providing practical communication strategies to help organizations navigate challenges, protect trust, and continue serving our neighborhoods with clarity and purpose. To learn more about Meeting the Moment, visit WVON.com/meeting the moment. Strong communication isn't just helpful, it's essential. Make sure your message is heard when it matters most. Meeting the Moment is powered by the Chicago Community Trust.
This report is paid for by Kneel for Congress. While others stand for the status quo, Kneel stands for affordability, healthcare access, and you. Washington is disconnected, but Kneel Not is listening. Don't settle for the same old politics. Vote Kneel Not for Congress this primary. Learn more at kneelforcongress.com. Paid for by Kneel for Congress.
Keep your eyes on the road and both hands on the steering wheel. We will not be held responsible for any accidents. It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
What do you know about this music?
A little something.
What do you know about disco, Peter Brown? You want to get funky? What do you know about that? That's way before
my
your
mom.
time. Yeah, it has to be way before your time. Takes us back to Sours. Takes us back to the Nimbus. Takes us back to Dingbats and Kappa Carnival and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, she definitely told me about Dingbats.
Dingbats. Look, got some callers on the line. Brother Ball, good morning. Welcome to VON. What's on your mind this morning?
What's going on, gang? What's going on?
Everything.
Listen, as I'm going to get my kids this morning, I want everybody to be diligent out here, man. I've been seeing some alarming videos. We got people trying to, take our babies, our little black babies in grocery stores and Walmarts and in Targets. And, it's not making news coverage or anything, but it is getting some notifications online. I find it disturbing because I got a 14-year-old daughter. And a younger black guy was, I'd say maybe in his mid-30s, his daughter was about 10 or 12, and a lady just walked up to her and tried to like pull her away from her father. Like, come here, I've been looking for you, and talking to her like she knew his daughter. And I find that real alarming that somebody to come up to a black man and try to take a little girl away from them. That's very bold and brazen. Need everybody to be on the lookout. If you're out with your kids, let these younger parents know to be on the lookout. Watch, especially in grocery stores. Another woman said a lady followed her aisle to aisle. She didn't have a child, so they were after her and caught up to her at the register, and she wound up being in front of her and claimed she only had $4. But she followed this woman aisle to aisle. The supervisor of the store, walked her out and escorted her to her car, so nothing would happen to her. But, these people are coming in grocery stores and Walmarts, and they're working with people outside. So you guys be very diligent. Pay attention to people with these earpieces on. I know everybody has them, but if you see somebody following you too many aisles with this earpiece on, get ready. Go in your purse and make some phone calls if you need to, because we're witnessing brazen things going on. Epstein Island, no. We got Chicago Island, Milwaukee Island, Illinois Island. Stuff is getting closer and closer to home. So let's be diligent. We know the summer is coming. Let's stay awake and warn each other. You see something going on, hey, let people know. You're not the only one that needs to know this information. I love you guys, man. Y'all keep doing good. Rufus.
Don't go yet, Brother Ball. I'm sorry, go on.
Your resume is getting longer and longer, man. You keep adding these expensive invitations you're getting, man.
Hey, look, I go. I'm excited to be called, and I'm happy to go wherever I can and represent us as well as I can. But thank you for this public service announcement. But tell us more. What do you think is happening? Is this people looking to traffic? Is this people looking to kidnap? Is this more of what we've heard about all before?
I'm definitely leaning towards this trafficking, especially with the children. Anytime somebody can walk up to your daughter or your granddaughter and talk to her without knowing her name. And see, that's the scariest part about it. So do you think we're naive enough to let our child go with somebody that's just saying, come here, I've been looking for you. You don't even know my child's name. That would just, throw me into a red flag state. But these women were definitely, worried about, and this was a woman. This wasn't a man that was following her around the store. This was another woman with an earpiece on. And I mean, aisle to aisle following her. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you guys got to be, diligent and keep your eyes on the swivel. I know this is the cell phone generation. I walk around and talk on mine on speakerphone. But I try to teach my children, even when they're in the car with me, learn where we're going. Pay attention to what's going on in these streets. You got your phone up to your face, watching TikTok, laughing. We might can avoid an accident if you see it. You know what I mean? So we got to really just be diligent. But yeah, sex trafficking, child kidnapping, we know that's always been up, and now it seems like it's getting even more prevalent. So we just got to watch as we go out into these streets, especially in big stores. Big stores, it seems like to be the places that they're doing this in. Walmart, Target, big box stores, a lot of room, security is kind of vague, only by the door. So if somebody makes it to the front door with your child and they make it out to the parking lot, they pretty much gone,
Hey, Brother Ball, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And we know that it happens,
problem.
And it's not being reported. So I appreciate you coming on and letting us
know. Problem.
All right. Lee, good morning and welcome to VON. What's on your mind this morning?
Hey, good morning, Rufus. So, yeah, well, if what the brother's saying is true, then yeah, because I think back in the day we got away from that, right? I'd be in the store with my mom and stay where I can see you.
Yeah.
Remember that, right? So, yeah, I think that we need to stay vigilant. But I wanted to ask you, Rufus, did you ever think in your wildest thoughts that we would be where we're at today with the leader of a free nation just outright being a bigot? I mean, did we ever think that? I mean, we used to hear about it from the old people, at least I did, about the slave catchers and the individuals making you jump off the sidewalk and coming to your house and taking, somebody out your house to go lynch them. And if you go down to Alabama and you see the lynching museum and all of that, even though you see it, for me, it's a tragedy, but it's like there's a glass between me and these events, right? Because my dad grew up in them. My elder siblings grew up, but I didn't, right? When I came along, things were a little bit better. My parents kind of shielded me. But did you ever think you would be in this environment where you're actually watching your government get to this place where coming back and snatching you off the street and hiding you away or killing somebody is just a reality now, right? This is just a reality. Stuff you read about, stuff you heard about happening in nations overseas, in Syria, overseas, in Iran. You're actually witnessing it with your own eyes. Did you ever think you'd see this in your lifetime?
Lee, first of all, Mr. Kenneth says everybody in that spot has been bigots, which is pretty much true with the exception of one or two. But I did think, and I didn't think that we were post-racial by any stretch, but I did think that when Barack Obama became president, certainly the first time, and then to be reelected, that we had moved to a different place. I thought that there had been a different understanding in this country, and whatever these things were that we're seeing now would have been pushed so far underground and been so far removed from our society, they would find themselves gone. But with the elevation of this guy and what we're seeing at this time, and the fact that he's not held to account for anything, just makes it worse. And wherever we were before, it just gets worse because we've come through it, and now they're elevating themselves again. And I'm glad you asked the question, because I did think about that this morning. The fact that he puts out this video and doesn't apologize for it. Initially, they try to blame it on someone else, say the people are too thin-skinned, but there is no accountability. And there's only been a few days since this has happened. And this is maddening on every single level. Again, didn't talk about it with Joy Reid on purpose when she was on, but we certainly will get into that when we talk on Friday.
And I'm sorry, and it's not even really him, right? What scares me are his minions. You see what I'm saying? That's what, like I said, I think a lot of people, I read a lot of books. A lot of people say a lot of things, right? Especially at my age group. But if you're 60 or something like that, or 50, you can say a lot. But in many of us, unless you lived in the heart of the South in some of them towns, you never really experienced it. You've seen it. You probably maybe came across it. Internet gives you a little bit more clarity sometimes, but you got to be careful with that. But to actually witness it, right? To actually to see it, and then know that he has people willing to do it for him is what makes me want to get my gun, right? Because I won't even shoot him. My fault, this the radio. I won't even do anything to the leader, because sometimes, that won't kill this. But the people, right? The people elected Rufus, they're standing around like they don't see this man walking around with his privates out or something, like I don't see this. And you're standing there looking at them like, who are you now? So that means everything you've said about supporting the Constitution, everything you've said about the United States, you are literally a liar. You are literally a liar, because nothing he's doing is constitutional. Nothing he's doing is American, at least not the civics I took. So anyway, brother, I'm glad you're thinking about it, because it's got me feeling some kind of way, right? Because I'm waiting. If you come to my door, you don't have a warrant, well, I'm gonna be on the news, because I know my rights, and I know that's why we created the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, is to stop the king from coming in your house and taking your stuff without due process, right?
That's right.
And so if you start telling me you have that right, man, you done lost your mind. I'm not letting you do that, right? So anyway, thanks a lot, man, for taking my call. Have a great one.
All right, Lee, appreciate you. In the words of Kim McGowan, black folk, stay woke. We'll be back right after this.
I'm Candace McCollum, and here's what's happening in your local news. A retail project is coming to Chicago's Garfield Ridge neighborhood. The $5.5 million project will replace vacant city land in the 4300 block of South Cicero. The 18,000 square foot single-story building will include up to 14 storefronts for potential retailers, service providers, and restaurants. The property has been vacant for more than 20 years. In other news, 1099-G tax forms are available for claimants in Illinois who received unemployment insurance benefits in 2025. The Illinois Department of Employment Security says claimants who collected benefits last year will need the 1099-G tax form to complete their state and federal tax returns. Claimants who opted to receive their 1099-G tax form electronically have received an email notification. Your weather for today, overall a pleasant day, mostly sunny, a high of 39, and tonight a low of 26. I'm Candace McCollum, and that was a look at your news and weather on the Talk of Chicago 1690 WVON.
I'm Keith David Connor. This Black History Month on WVON, I'm honored to say Kiss My Black Past, highlighting Black history through my 2026 Culture Proud calendar as part of WVON's Eracism campaign. See the culture through my eyes. Adinkra are visual symbols that represent concepts, proverbs, aphorisms. They originated from the Akan Gayaman people of Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, kind, the Ivory Coast. I'm Keith David Connor. Order my Culture Proud calendars at kcart1.com. You've been listening to Culture Proud, Kiss My Black Past, an exclusive Black History Month series on WVON.
This Valentine's Day, February 14th, in the Auditorium Theater. Get ready for Cheryl Underwood.
Don't say against your man mama. These men love they mama. Even if he ain't never met this, he love his mom.
Michael Collier.
These four potatoes was out dancing. How could you tell which one was kind of loose? One of them kept saying Idaho. Idaho.
Plus George Wilborn and J. Anthony Brown. A limited amount of discounted tickets, only $65 in celebration of Valentine's Day. Get them now at the box office and Ticketmaster.
Attention families, mark your calendars for a magical day at Bronzeville Children's Museum. Join us as we celebrate the beloved legacy of Ella Jenkins with storytelling, crafts, music, singing, and face painting for kids of all ages. From 1 to 3 p.m., enjoy hands-on fun, colorful performances, and a chance to create memories that sing. Explore a musical journey with live performances, crafts, and a portrait of creativity your children will love. Bring the whole family to Bronzeville Children's Museum at 9301 South Stony Island Avenue, Chicago. Tickets are just $10 per person, worth every giggle. Save the date, Saturday, February 14th, 1 to 3 p.m. at Bronzeville Children's Museum for a joyful tribute to Ella Jenkins. Let's make this a day to remember. See you there.
Your heart works hard for you every day, but are you taking care of it? This Saturday on the Community Health Focus Hour, join host Dr. Edwin McDonald for a heart health discussion. Simple steps for lifelong wellness. He'll talk with experts from Chicago Medicine about real practical ways to protect your heart, lower your risk, and live stronger at every age. Listen this Saturday on WVON and Facebook Live to this life-changing, life-saving conversation. The Community Health Focus Hour, Saturdays at 1 p.m., powered by the Urban Health Initiative of Chicago Medicine at the forefront.
This report is brought to you by Johnson Fitness and Wellness. Chicago. Shop Johnson Fitness and Wellness President's Day sale for big fitness savings. Low prices on treadmills, bikes, strength equipment, and massage chairs. Their experts help match the right equipment to your goals. Shop a local store or johnsonfitness.com today.
If you're not out of the bed yet, then what are you waiting for? It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. Okay, Titus, I'm listening to the lyrics of these songs, and we talk about hip-hop and what's being said now. Yeah, it was kind of direct back then, too.
I think it's just the eras thing. That's all.
It's just, it is what it is and what it was and what it always will be. Had a really good conversation yesterday with these two guys who wrote a book called Whale about a record company back in the 40s and 1949 through 1960, Prestige Records. Really interesting discussion. Can't wait for you all to get it on Bound and Woven.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be really good. I remember, I want to say you had them on before, talked to them before, and I remember hearing some of the story before, and it was just interesting. And I'm like, oh man, this has got to be a book or something. And now that they're on Bound and Woven,
I think the chess guys before.
Yes.
These guys are Prestige. It's just so much.
Yes.
So much there. So yeah, we got a few things in the can, just some great interviews. I did 2 yesterday. After leaving here, maybe that's why I'm feeling a little tired. But it keeps on because we have to keep going. Look, Pat Ryan is coming in. He's on his way to the studio, just caught in a little traffic. Anybody who's driven on the Eisenhower knows what the Eisenhower is like at any time.
Yeah.
So he'll come in and we will chat with him when he gets here, probably, or whenever he gets here, 10 minutes or so. But in the meantime, let's keep talking. Michael O'Connor, good morning. Welcome to VON. What's on your mind this morning?
Hi, good morning. Good morning to the WVON family. Look, I want to thank Brother Ball for his comments, because if I had, if I was walking in the store with my niece and somebody followed them around, well, first of all, they wouldn't be out of my sight. But I found that my nieces were being followed around. I would catch case in the store, okay? That's the first thing I want to say. But the second thing I want to say is, Brother Lee was asking if this was possible in this country, the things that we're seeing now. And I would always ask people if they read our history and knew our total history. They would know that, yeah, it's possible because it's happened before. If they read that book that you signed for me, Rufus, it was called A Protest History of the United States, with Gloria J. Brown Marshall as the author, who frequently comes on VON. They would know that this type of stuff is possible. This is the type of place where our ancestors were taken against their will to work for free, that built the foundation of the entire country. So, we need to know what we're up against. If we know what we're up against and the continuation of that, which is commonly referred to as white supremacy, we will know that not only are our children not always safe, but we're not safe. And that's my comment. You have a great day.
Stay here for a moment, Michael, because I want to ask you about something very particular. Gloria J. Brown Marshall is actually coming back to Chicago. She's going to do a talk at the Chicago Public Library. I'll figure out when, because she's not sneaking in town without coming in here with us. So stay tuned for that. Also just held up for folks the U.S. Constitution, which she gave me. It's in an African-American context. So in this version of the Constitution that she's done, she's got editorial comments in here and some boldening of the Constitution on things that affect Black people. I encourage you to get one of these. Wanted to ask you about what happened in New York, where they have taken down the flag at the site of the monument for the LGBTQ movement. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's where the country, not the country, but where the administration is at. See, I remember people like James Baldwin. I remember people like Marshall Johnson. I remember people like Ma Rainey. I know my history, and I am at the intersection of that history because I'm African American. That's the first thing people see. But that's not the only thing that I am. So I am not at all surprised that any of this happened. And the LGBTQ community, the LGBTQIA community has to fight just like everybody else who's not a white male with money has to do. Women have to fight. Black women have to fight. Look, we got a country with 140 million who are poverty-stricken. Don't you know that when SNAP is cut off, that affects them too, just like it affects us?
Yeah, so many.
They pit us against each other. Divide and conquer is the strategy, and it's blatantly seen for those who pay attention. So that's how I would answer your question.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you. You know, it's so much. This flag, a pride flag, was removed from the Stonewall Monument in Manhattan, which was a directive directly from the federal government. And this has been seen as an historic site for the gay rights movement throughout the world. So to Michael's point, this whole sense of diminishing people is problematic as it comes from this country. I'll point out, though, what Lee asked was, did we anticipate at this time that we would have this kind of person who was so outwardly racist in the White House? Not understanding history, but asking if we had, at this time, would we have expected that to be the case. Ms. Eunice, good morning and welcome to VON.
Good morning, Rufus. How are you?
I'm good, Ms. Eunice.
I would just like to add to what Brother Ball said. I saw some children running around the parking lot and also in the grocery store. And please be careful in those big box stores because they're robbing now. I heard a lady say they put a knife on her, so please be careful. And thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Eunice. Just another reason not to be in Target or Walmart. Not the least of which is to really focus on our economics as we try to look and push back against what is happening to us. As Joy Reid told us, we've got more than $1 trillion in purchasing power. Let's think about where we purchase it. But most importantly, let's watch out for these young people around us, whether they're yours or not. Let's watch out for what's happening in all these places. Curtis, good morning and welcome to VON. What's on your mind this morning?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Uncle Rufus. I heard you say you're going to have, a meeting with the mayor. You want to ask him some questions.
The mayor is going to be at the City Club, and I am going to moderate a discussion with him after he speaks today.
I don't know whether you can ask him this or not, but I worked in my backyard for like 40 years doing mechanic work, and I had a regular job too. But the city came down on me not too long ago, but I didn't retire. But ask him, can he help the black guys that's working in their backyards on cars, because some of them, that's the only job they got to take care of their family, and they do good work. Most of them do.
What is it that you want him to do?
Maybe he can address that. Maybe try to present something, maybe on a bill to help those guys out.
But again,
what
do they need? What do you guys need?
Well, the city, they do a cease and desist. They stop them working on cars and stuff in the community, and they help the community out by getting them cheap prices, on their cars and stuff.
Yeah, no, I know every alley has an alley mechanic. That's hopeful in
right.
so many ways. So what you're saying
I
is
built a race car.
Yeah, the city has been cracking down on people to stop them from doing the work.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
You know exactly what you're talking about. And what I did in the neighborhood, I trained the guys how to do motors, brakes, and a lot of different stuff. I pay them like they 13, 12 years old. I give them $4 or $5 bucks an hour to help them out. I built a race car in the alley back there, and all the kids used to come running, because they enjoyed it, being around stuff like that.
Yeah, I hear you, Curtis. I will find a way to ask him. I don't know if it'll be in the bigger form, but I will make sure that we have an opportunity to have him address that. It is time to take a break. Hopefully not long. How long? Not long. But I hear the bell ringing. It may be candidate Pat Hynes who's coming in, but we'll pick up, have a conversation with him when he gets here. But we'll be back with more right after this.
More of the morning show with Rufus Williams coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, But Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Am I afraid to stand up to Donald Trump? Please. Fear is a luxury I do not have.
Finally, a candidate who gets where we're coming from. That's Melissa Conyers-Irvin, born in Inglewood, raised on the West Side. Melissa's fighting the same fight we are in Trump's economy that's crushing us.
I don't need to watch the news to know what people here are up against. I'm in it, and I've been in it my entire life. I was raised by a single mother, put myself through college. Now we're raising our daughter and taking care of my disabled sister who relies on Medicare and SNAP. So when Trump cut those programs, we felt it, and I won't let it happen again.
Melissa won't stand on the sidelines against Trump. Melissa is who we need right now.
Your family and mine, we're in this together.
Vote early or on March 17th for Melissa Conyers-Irvin in the 7th Congressional District State Central Committee. Paid for by Melissa for Chicago.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Hey, it's Cleopatra Draper. Join me for the Midday Show weekdays at 9 a.m. where we'll sip and spill all the tea. Do you want it hot or cold? Either way, we're serving up the flavor of the day. Weekdays at 9 a.m. right here on the station giving you what's now and what's next. 1690 WVON.
This report is brought to you by ComEd, powering lives. Here's a great savings idea. Did you know you've got the power to manage your energy? Yep, from usage alerts to energy savings programs and more. ComEd has all kinds of ideas to help you gain control over your energy cost. Find out more at ComEd.com/energy savings.
Keep your eyes on the road and both hands on the steering wheel. We will not be held responsible for any accidents. It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. He is here. Pat Hynes, candidate for Cook County Assessor, has come in to share some thoughts with us. And so we're happy to have you. Welcome to WVON.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, good to have you. This campaign stuff, I heard on the news this morning, you guys were having some kind of talk last night someplace, you and Fritz.
Yes, we were on the West Side for a forum.
With the black ministers on the West Side.
That's correct.
Well, then God bless your soul. Let's talk about it. Tell us first, who is Pat Hynes and why do you want this job?
So I am a 30-year property tax professional, 3 years of private appraisal practice, industrial commercial appraisals, then 2+ decades at the county assessor's office. I left in a frustration and went and ran for Lyons Township assessor, where I'm just earned my second term as the Lyons Township Assessor. And I have the privilege of advocating for the 45,000 taxpayers in my southwest corner of Cook County. And I'm starting to assemble a very large group of aggrieved taxpayers who are receiving property tax burdens that are a little volatile. They end up with burdens that really are larger than they should be otherwise. And the obstacle to justice for my taxpayers is sitting on the third floor of the county building. So it's time to bring a little competence to the county assessor's office and restore some trust and stop taxing people out of their homes.
Well, let's back up to a point and say, you said you left out, you were in the assessor's office.
I was.
You left out of frustration.
That's correct.
What frustrated you?
Well, we were violating the law. So it's
that.
Yeah. It is the duty of any assessor. The first thing you learn in Assessment 101 is that it's the duty of any assessor to discover, list, and value all the property that's in the jurisdiction. And that wasn't happening. It's still not happening at the county assessor's office. So if you think of every time a hammer swings or a shovel goes in the ground, it's the duty of the assessor to then identify that new construction property, put it on the tax rolls so that it pays its fair share in taxes, and so that we don't shift that burden to other taxpayers. So there are $1 million luxury single-family homes that are missing from the tax rolls, car washes, gas stations, warehouses. And the reason for that is that the permit data that comes into the county assessor's office is just being ignored. They're not taking action and going and investigating those parcels and adding that new construction to the property tax rolls. So that was one of the many things that I was unhappy with. So it causes harm. It causes harm to regular taxpayers. The 20 years that I was at the county assessor's office, I was on the front lawn doing assessments in person in every community in this county, from the top to the bottom, from the east to the west. I've had thousands of conversations with taxpayers about how the tax impacts their lives. These are emotional conversations. This is the most personal asset that anyone will ever own, their home. And so when we get it wrong, we cause real harm. And so this work means something to me. It really has an impact on people's lives. And so I left to advocate for the taxpayers in my corner of Cook County.
So I want to be clear. You're saying that when Titus built his $1 million home, the permit didn't come up and nobody knew that he built that home. And so he's not being assessed on that home?
So Titus's permit would have gone to the county assessor's office. The county assessor would have chosen to ignore that permit and not investigate.
Why would they ignore it?
That's a question you'd have to ask the
I
incumbent.
mean, wouldn't it be just a normal system that says any new home that comes on goes on the tax roll?
That is the way our system is supposed to work. Yes, that is the law. The law says that anything that is built is taxable from the time that it's ready and fit for occupancy or for its customary use.
Okay,
that's not happening now. So there was a Tribune article last August that chronicled this problem. They came up with about $400+ million worth of missing properties. If you read the article, they said that there were so many of them that they just got exhausted looking. They stopped looking.
Well, how could there be that many houses, that many? Because I know Titus has his, and
Okay.
a couple of other people have theirs.
Yes.
But when we finish, I'm going to look up Titus's home and see if it's on the roll.
Sure.
Because it would seem odd that the system wouldn't automatically pick those up.
Well, it doesn't
and
happen
include
automatically. It's the duty of the county assessor to maintain the property description books.
Okay, so when I go in then to contest my valuation, and the contesting is based on recent sales, the contesting is based on, whatever has been happening in my neighborhood, it would seem that, well, I guess I wouldn't put Titus's $1 million home on there because that
No.
would increase my value.
Well, his would be listed as a vacant lot if it was
Right, so
missing.
I'd like his as a vacant lot, right? So I'd never tell.
Well, no, you'd like Titus to pay his fair share,
do
so that
want
you don't
Titus
have
to
to pay. You don't have to pay his missing tax burden.
Okay, so you said there was an article that said there were 400. How many did you say?
There was over 400 million. And
$400 million
really, that's
dollars
just
in
that's just a
in
fraction.
value that wasn't assessed.
Right.
All right, and so this has been happening. You say going back to the time that you were there. How long ago did you leave?
I left in October of 21. Was my last day.
Okay, so
Yeah.
up until 5 years ago, this was
It's
still
happening today. It's been
going
happening
on.
the entire
It's
term.
Still going on.
Both
Okay.
terms.
So your thought is one to get in and add those on. I saw your ads that
Yes.
talked about this, and one of the things I thought, Pat, and I need you to help me out with this
Sure.
because, as we understand, much of the challenge in the valuation is between commercial properties and residential properties. And I said it can't be that many residential properties that would have that great of an impact on my taxes or the taxes on the folks who live on the south and west sides who got the greatest increase this last time. So what about the commercial properties? I just didn't feel like it could have been enough to have that impact.
So in our system, commercial properties pay 2.5 times the tax rate as residential properties. What happened on the south side and the west side was a choice. So every dollar that's collected in Chicago is one large taxing district. So every dollar in property taxes collected on the far north side, the far south side, the east side, the west side, they all go in the same bucket.
Right.
And so this argument about commercial versus residential, and this argument that somehow that caused a shift to residential taxpayers. Why did it only land on the south side and the west side? And the reason is because there was a choice made by the county assessor to double and in some cases triple. Yesterday, I met someone who had his property tax assessment go up 500% in those communities and hold harmless the north side communities. Roscoe Village had about a 5% increase. I think Lincoln Park had an 8 or a 9%. There's communities in Lakeview that had a very mild increase. Yet in the west side, you had 130% increase, south side 100+ % increase, individual taxpayers who received doubling and tripling of their assessment. And so it's not logical to say that the taxes for those communities would have been neutral had it not been for commercial. If you double someone's assessment, you are going to impact their property tax bill. You're going to spike their property tax burden.
Okay, Pat Hynes and I are talking about taxes, property taxes. Got everybody's attention, I hope. He is a candidate for assessor running against Fitzcahey, who was in with us last week. We'll have more with candidate Hynes right after this.
More of the morning show with Rufus Williams coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
I'm Candace McCollum, and here are your news headlines. Retail project coming to Garfield Ridge. And 1099-G forms available for unemployment insurance benefits. We will have details on these stories and much more headed your way. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on the station that is Black and proud, WVON 1690 AM, Berwyn, Chicago.
Here's BIN News Now. Black Florida House Democratic leader Patrice Driscoll is raising concerns after Black law students at Florida A&M were reportedly told they can't use the word Black when referring to Black History Month.
We really need to pay attention to the harm that this can cause to students.
The university has responded and clarified that Black and Black History Month are allowed on student flyers after a staff error. The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services Chief Dr. Mehmet Oz is urging Americans to get the measles vaccine as outbreaks spread nationwide. The CDC has confirmed more than 700 cases this year, with 95% occurring in unvaccinated people. Medicaid and Medicare will continue covering the MMR shot. And GoFundMe campaigns for laid-off Washington Post employees have now topped $700,000 as supporters continue donating to help staffers impacted by the paper's sweeping job cuts. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Terry McCready.
Attorney General Pam Bondi facing a House hearing today. The House Judiciary Committee holding its annual oversight hearing of the Department of Justice and the Jeffrey Epstein file release right at the center.
But we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Bondi back in November. We'll see how she fleshes out progress in the probe today. She's also in the hot seat over the legal justifications involving the arrest and ouster of former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and the continued military strikes on suspected narco boats. House Speaker Mike Johnson supporting a full-year funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security. Black Congressman from Florida, Byron Donalds.
They want wide open borders. And at this point,
they'll just hold their breath and not do anything and let DHS funding lapse. And then you have Republicans on Capitol Hill will say, well, we can't let that happen. Well, let's try to find a way to find common ground.
Meanwhile, Johnson says House GOP leadership wants to see the Senate pass a full-year funding bill rather than a short-term or even long-term continuing resolution. Democrats and the White House remain at an impasse over proposed reforms to immigration enforcement as DHS funding expires after Friday. All right, Don Lemon has retained legal counsel from an attorney who recently resigned from the office prosecuting the former cable news anchor. Joseph Thompson informed the judge yesterday that he'll be representing Lemon ahead of his court appearance this week. Until last month, Thompson was the number 2 official in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota and assisted in leading the office's investigation into social services fraud that ballooned into a national scandal. Thompson resigned alongside several colleagues as reports emerged that the DOJ was soft-pedaling a probe of the federal agent who killed Renee Good in Minneapolis and instead wanted to investigate her partner. The indictment stems from Lemon's coverage of a protest that interrupted a church service to oppose a pastor who reportedly was an ICE agency field director. Lemon says he was just doing his job as a journalist and denies any wrongdoing. A secret training camp in Ethiopia for training thousands of fighters for the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group in nearby Sudan. Reuters report it's another indication that one of the world's deadliest conflicts is tapping regional powers from Africa and the Middle East. The camp marking the first direct evidence of Ethiopia's involvement in Sudan's civil war, and it is a potentially dangerous step that provides the RSF a significant supply of fresh soldiers. Several sources say the United Arab Emirates financed the camp's construction and logistical support. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow BIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. At Lowe's, Blueprint Takes Off turns your blueprints into quotes faster. Bring your plans to Lowe's Pros Desk and get help streamlining the estimating process. Then, when your order's ready, Lowe's delivers to the job site.
Chicago Medicine Ingalls Memorial believes a few things. They believe that care that knows your life is care that knows your needs. That world-class care belongs in your neighborhood. That care that listens to you is care that's made for you. From primary and specialty care to emergency department services, comprehensive health care is under one roof in Calumet City, Flossmoor, Harvey, and Tinley Park, providing you and your family the best care possible. Visit uchicagomedicine.org/FCC to find what you need close to home.
Hi, I'm LaShawn K. Ford, and I'm running for Congress because I see what's happening in our communities every day. I see young people struggling to find opportunity. I see seniors working harder just to make ends meet, and I see families feeling squeezed by rising costs while Washington stays distracted. This Trump administration has brought chaos and corruption instead of real solutions. We need leadership that listens and delivers. As a state legislator, I've spent years fighting for working families, seniors, and communities that too often get left behind. That record is why I'm endorsed by Congressman Danny K. Davis, former U.S. Senator Roland Burst, former Congressman Bobby Rush, former Secretary of State Jesse White, and the Speaker of the Illinois House, Chris Welch. Make your plan to vote, and on your ballot, punch 31, paid for by LaShawn K. Ford for Congress.
Every Friday at 3 p.m., I step behind the mic with one mission: to cut through the noise. I'm David Seaton, WVON's only conservative voice, and trust me, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. I'm unapologetically conservative, proudly anti-progressive, and I don't deal in feelings, I deal in facts. If you're looking for sugar-coated opinions, this isn't your stop. But if you want the truth, straight, no chaser, pull up a chair. The David Seaton Show, Fridays at 3 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Tune in every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. for Speak On It with Dr. Kofi Malik. You've seen him on cable TV. Now hear his spirited conversation on the Talk of Chicago. The question at hand is raising voices of the Negro. That plain and simple. Tune in every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. for Speak On It with Dr. Kofi Malik on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is brought to you by SuperSure. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get super sure, not kind of sure, not pretty sure, not a little sure, but super sure. The seismic shift is coming. Super sure, coming soon.
WVON celebrating 100 years of Black History Month by remembering 400 years of innovators who changed the world.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to. WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's Rufus Williams on Chicago's Essential Storyteller, WVON.
You wonder how I do it. It's just one simple rule. I'm just cool. Honey, baby, can't you see? Girl, I'm so cool. Ain't nobody bad like me. Hey. R-U-F-U-S. What's that spell? R-U-F-U-S. I'm just cool. Honey, baby, can't you see? Girl, I'm so cool. Ain't nobody bad like me. Sing it, baby. R-U-F-U-S. What's that thing? R-U-F-U-S. That felt cool.
The Audio Genius. The Audio Genius. The Audio Genius.
Welcome back. We are talking to Pat Hynes. He is the assessor in Lyons Township, looking to be the assessor in Cook County, running against Fritz Cahey, who you heard here last week. Titus, I don't know if you noticed it, but Pat was jamming to my music. I saw him. He was swinging. I don't know if you saw that, but I caught him. Before we went to break, Pat, we're talking about the assessments that hit hard on the west side and the south side. And what was explained to us is that after all was said and done, after the assessor did the assessment, the review did their review, the levies were made, the commercial properties were reduced by a substantial percentage. The decision then came that effectively every household got a $700 bump. And if you are in a place that has higher values, $700, the percentage, the math is just the percentage wasn't as much. If your values were lowered, $700 was a lot. And so that's why we saw these really large percentage increases in homes on the west side and the south side. Does that fit what your understanding is of what happened? And if not, tell us what you understand to have happened.
No. So Assessor Cahey, the incumbent, holds up several properties as evidence that it's not his fault that the west side and the south side received that spike. So, he holds up the Hilton Hotel at 720 South Michigan.
Okay.
That paid $1 million more in property taxes this year than it did last year. It's also in a TIF district. He holds up 1000 South Michigan, paid millions of dollars more at that site this year than it did last year, okay. Also in a TIF district. And so if we waved a magic wand and increase the value on these properties, do you know how much property tax relief it would provide to the south side and the west side? $0.
I was thinking you were going to say that much. Not very
Zero.
Much. But
Zero.
Why does the fact that it's in a TIF matter?
So all the increase then is captured by the TIF. So the property tax owner will pay more in tax, but that extra tax will just go into the TIF bucket for economic development. So let's examine what actually happened. The property tax assessment in those communities that received that huge increase had their property tax assessment spiked, doubled. Who did that? The county assessor did that. Before the tax bills were printed, the Better Government Association released a heat map on where the property tax assessments were spiked. And if you look at that heat map, it's the same communities, the west side and the south side, that we saw the property tax spike. So if the theory is that, there's something going on and commercial has got some sort of a bargain, why didn't that burden spread out evenly? Why didn't it land in Lincoln Park? Why didn't it land in Roscoe Village? Why didn't it land in Lakeview? Why did it land in Inglewood and North Lawndale and Austin and West Garfield Park? And the reason that it landed there is because of a decision made, a choice that the county assessor made to spike these assessments. He did the assessment in 2021 for these communities. That's his value. Then he did the value again in 2024, again, his value. And the increases are not matched by the actions of the market. I talk to taxpayers all the time in these affected communities, and they'll say, well, my assessment went up 200%. And the question I ask is, can you sell your house for 200% more than you could have 3 years ago? And if the answer is no, you need a new Cook County assessor.
Yeah.
That's not the way our system is supposed to work.
Right. We know the assessment is not, it comes from the assessor. It's not the market value. It's the assessment that goes on it. But let me ask you this, because when we look at all of these things and we explain to us how you understand how taxing works. Quickly, this is what I understand. It's kind of what I said earlier.
Yeah.
The assessor lays out the values, the board of review reviews it to see if they are reasonable, and then the levies go on the taxes, what the individual levies go on. And so what the ultimate goal is to pay off whatever this nut is. It comes from the city and the county and everybody else. They determine how much they need, and then it's that mill check, right? Who's going to pay?
Who's going to
what
pay
piece?
what? Correct.
And that's how it works. Is that
that's
proper understanding?
That's fair. So it's a $9.5 billion annual tax burden in the city, $9.5 billion tax burden in the suburbs, roughly. And so it's the assessor's job to fairly and equitably distribute that burden according to market value of property. And I think that if you took an honest measure of where that burden landed this year, it's hard to say that there was a fair and equitable distribution of that burden when you have spikes that are outside the actions of the market in some of the poorest communities that we have in this city, those least able to absorb it. The exact same thing happened 1 year ago. The exact same thing happened last year in the Southland. All the communities between I-57 and the Indiana border saw this same show the prior year, where they had a doubling of their residential tax bills. They weren't expecting it. The county gives them 30 days to pay it. And if you look at the delinquency rates in those communities, we have delinquency rates of 30%, 40% in some communities. These are folks who are absolutely on the road to property tax foreclosure. They will lose their home. They will lose their generational wealth. Communities are going to lose a good neighbor, and they're going to be left with an albatross in the neighborhood with a vacant house. You're going to see this exact same thing on the south side and the west side.
So what are you going to do that stops that? What are you going to do that's going to be different? What are you going to do that helps us keep our houses? What are you going to do, Pat, that keeps our property taxes down?
So we're going to follow the market, and we're going to bring competence to the county assessor's office. So even in a hot market, your value doesn't change that wildly in 3 years. And so what's really important is that we have predictability in our property tax assessment system. That people have to have an idea of what their future burden is going to be. And so I say all the time, if you did not enjoy a doubling in the real estate that you possess, you should not have to suffer a doubling in the property tax assessment and that spike in assessment. So number one, we're not going to do that to people. So we're not going to have these wild swings in the assessment, because that's not the way the market works. The other item that we're going to do, we had touched on it a little bit earlier about the data used to produce the assessment. We talked about the missing properties that aren't being taxed at all. But if you take a look at the data that's being used to produce the residential side of the assessment, it's full of garbage data. If you took a random sample of 100 parcels, residential parcels in Chicago, looked at the description of that property that they have at the county assessor's office, and then walk the community, actually look at what's on the site, it will not match. And so you cannot produce a credible result if you do not have good data that's going in. And right now, the county assessor cannot produce a credible assessment that taxpayers can have confidence in. So the number one thing that we're going to do is clean up the data, produce a credible assessment result, and stop taxing people out of their homes.
How long is that going to take? How much is that going to cost? And when will we see the result of what it is that you're going to do?
So that's going to take 3 years. We do the county on a triennial cycle. So the first assessment cycle that I get is the city of Chicago. I've already been collecting data on the built environment in the city of Chicago. And frankly, it's a wonderful time to run for county assessor. My grandmother used to say, there's not an ill wind that blows that doesn't blow somebody a bit of good. Following an assessor who didn't do his job. When I come in on day one, there's an absolute buffet that's going to be left on the table to feast off of. So all those luxury single-family homes that weren't taxed, the warehouses that are missing, the restaurants that are missing, we can add those to the tax rolls and put downward pressure on tax rates, put downward pressure on residential tax burden right away.
So if you are successful, Titus, you're going to have to pay. If the jig is up, it's over. We're talking with Pat Hynes. Got more questions for him. I see some coming up on the board and all these other things. So we'll have more with him right after this.
If you're not out of the bed yet, then what are you waiting for? It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on 1690 WVON.
It's Rufus Williams. Every weekday morning from 7 to 9, I break down what's really going on, politics, power, and the people shaping our communities. Think of it like your morning newspaper, headlines, context, and what it actually means, so you can take it in, sit with it, and move smarter through your day. If you're part of the Roo Crew, you already know. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, the comments are a whole other show. A family reunion happening in real time. Listen live or on the WVON app, or join us on Facebook Live. It's the Rufus Williams Show, weekdays 7 to 9, right here on 1690 WVON.
This Black History Month, WVON is coming with a message. Kiss My Black Past. We're partnering with adopted Chicago artist Keith David Connor, the visionary behind Black history illustrations that have inspired Chicago for years. His latest work, The Culture Proud Calendar, connects to WVON's Eracism campaign at a time when Black history and Black identity are under attack. This month, we're not just celebrating the past, we're protecting it and pushing forward. Unapologetically Black, unapologetically proud. This Black History Month, WVON doesn't just honor history, we make it.
Tap your way to a big payday during the Winner Takes All tournament at Wind Creek Casino. You could win over $11 million. Qualifying tournaments happen each Friday for a share of $25,000 in slot free play. You could advance to the quarterfinals and grab a share of $50,000. Make it to the finals, and you could be the winner of $1 million in cash with a chance to win over $11 million. Play now at Wind Creek Casino and Hotel. Must be 21 years or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It's the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Ray, your new favorite part of the day.
Tune in 3 to 6 Monday through Thursday on WVON 1690 AM. We ask the questions you're thinking
And the ones you're afraid to ask.
The afternoon show, only on WVON.
This report is brought to you by Johnson Fitness and Wellness. Chicago. Shop Johnson Fitness and Wellness President's Day sale for big fitness savings. Low prices on treadmills, bikes, strength equipment, and massage chairs. Their experts help match the right equipment to your goals. Shop a local store or johnsonfitness.com today.
If you're not out of the bed yet, then what are you waiting for? It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. Talking with Pat Hynes, candidate for Cook County Assessor, running against Fitzcahey. Pat, you told me it's going to take 3 years to do this reassessment for Cook County because there's a triennial when it all comes through. So you'll say you're going to do these things and we'll look next year and our tax bills won't go down.
well, they will be more stable. The other item, well, they will go down because I get to add all that extra tax, missing tax.
They will go down. Okay.
But the other item that I'm really excited about, if you give me an opportunity to talk about it,
you got it,
is our public-facing Office of Economic Development.
A public-facing Office of Economic Development. So what is that?
So right now, we work so hard to attract people to invest in Cook County, to build here.
Right.
And it's very difficult for people to build here because they can't predict their future property tax burden. So imagine you were going to, we're hundreds of thousands of residential units short in our market. And that's why we have runaway inflation in rent. That's why it's very difficult to afford to live here as we have these issues. And so we have a supply problem. There are those in the market who would like to supply, but it's very difficult to build here because you can't predict what your future property tax burden is going to be. If you're going to build a multi-story mixed-use building with residential and commercial on the first floor, you need to figure out how much your property tax burden is going to be so that you can pencil out your pro forma and get a loan for construction. You need to pencil out your pro forma so you can decide whether or not the capital is worth investing, what the return is going to be.
Right.
There's no reason that the county assessor's office can't model that before they even put a shovel in the ground. So if you know you're going to build a 200,000 square foot warehouse, we can model that for you. We can tell you what our score will be, what your assessment's going to be before you even put a shovel in the ground. It'll help people get financing. It'll help people get building again. And those projects will put downward pressure on tax rates, put downward pressure on residential tax bills. The property tax burden, most of it is K through 12 education, schools. Our commercial property taxpayers pay a rate 2.5 times the residential rate, and they don't send any customers to the school. So the more that we can get building in our county, we can relieve our shortage of residential units. We can put downward pressure on rents. We can put downward pressure on property tax rates. We can put downward pressure on property tax bills.
So your sense is that that's economic development.
That's correct.
Vacant lots become places that now have some value, greater value, and that will happen because you sense that if we give them better idea of what this burden would be from a property tax standpoint.
Predictable, stable taxation.
But aren't developers doing that on their own? Because if you're
They
building
are
something,
not.
they're not. They have to know that. Under
No.
require them to know that.
So if you talk to developers now, they will tell you that it's very difficult to predict for their project what the future property tax burden is going to be. And a lot of them decide not to build here. I've had conversations with folks that used to build in Cook County who are now building in Nashville, Tennessee, Phoenix, Arizona, Texas. And the reason is that they've cannot predict what that future burden is going to be, or they have built, then brought a project to market. They had estimated that their tax would be X. Turns out their tax was 2X. It's very difficult to make their construction loan, very difficult to make the payments on what they had planned. And so they just leave.
Okay. So Pat has a plan, but the plan's going to take a while, right?
Well,
that's still going to take
initially I can provide relief by just adding the properties to the tax rolls that are not taxed right now.
Okay. So
that's a short term.
So you're saying short term, you can stabilize.
That's a nice sugar high in the short term.
By going to get Titus's property and everybody else who's got his $1 million.
He
built it. I didn't tell him to build this $1 million palace. But people who have these places that they know they have not been paying their share.
Correct.
They've been hiding. You're going to find them.
Yeah, they're not actually hiding. So when I became the township assessor, I found 33 luxury single family homes that weren't on the tax rolls. We asked the county assessor to add them. They didn't. So we went to the board of review and had them added at the last minute. I ended up having a lot of conversations with those taxpayers, and you would think, they would be upset. Oh my goodness, I was paying on a vacant lot. Now I'm being asked to pay for a house. And a lot of them had said, I've been saving money for the last 3 years to pay this property tax bill. I don't know whether I saved too much. Did I save too little? Should I be in Hawaii right now on a vacation, or should I be borrowing more money? They were relieved to just have the certainty of what their property tax burden is going to be. So these folks that are not on the tax rolls, it's through no fault of their own. It's through a decision made by the county assessor. And the law is actually holding them harmless. If the county assessor received a permit, received constructive notice that there was construction at that site, the law holds the taxpayer harmless for back taxes.
Pat, it's so hard to believe that here in 2026, where we have artificial intelligence, that we don't have a system that's simply telling people, this is a new $1 million property. This should be on the tax rolls at this value.
Yeah, we could. The county pays for an aerial flyover of the county every 3 months. So we have aerial photos. There's change detection that we
But
can
even
do.
before that, there are building permits and all that have to happen.
Agreed. Yes, the building
So there's
permits
gotta
are
be
sent to the
somebody
county
talking to
assessor's
someone
office. That you are correct. And those permits go to the county assessor's office, and then they are simply ignored. And so when a permit arrives at the county assessor's office, the county assessor doesn't take action and put that property on the tax rolls. And it's missing from the tax rolls for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Those back years, the county assessor is barred from getting that property tax clawed back on a back tax because the county assessor received constructive notice.
Well, who's overseeing what the county assessor is doing? Should there be an IG that watches what's happening so that these kinds of things don't happen on behalf of?
There is. The inspector general did admonish the assessor's office for not having a tracking system and putting properties on the tax rolls. There was an inspector general report 2 reports ago, I believe. There was a taxpayer who had been complaining for years that there was a house across the street that was not taxed.
What happened?
They didn't tax it. And so then she finally went to the inspector general and complained. The inspector general investigated, and his recommendation was that the county assessor should do a better job of tracking this data.
And what they do?
You'd have to ask Assessor Kagi. I still find missing properties from the tax roll, so I'm guessing that they did not heed that advice.
All right. So you've got some ideas on how to, one, have some level of predictability on what taxes
It's really important.
be, and to add on to the rolls, these taxes, these properties that have not otherwise been included.
That's correct.
What are your thoughts on commercial properties, Pat Hynes?
So commercial properties should certainly pay their fair share according to market value. The best person to be able to do that would be someone has the experience, who has valued commercial property in the past. So one of the key things that you have to realize about the county assessor's office is that we're the foundational part of the assessment system. So we create the assessment book originally. We're the only ones that are allowed to keep the property description books of how large these properties are, what construction type they are, and then we value them. But we have to defend our value. Our assessment book goes to the Board of Review. It has to survive scrutiny. The assessment book then goes to the Circuit Court and the Property Tax Appeal Board. It has to survive scrutiny. So these values have to be rooted in good quality data, good quality rubrics that you can defend, because you have to have an assessment book that taxpayers have confidence in and that can survive scrutiny at the other levels.
My final question, simply because we're out of time.
Certainly.
What do you say to people who say that you and other people on the Board of Review are receiving contributions from those who you would ultimately be responsible for their assessments?
So there was a study done just recently. The reporter had looked into the contributions from myself and my opponent. I believe my number was 200 and some thousand from real estate interests. My opponent was 400 and some thousand from real estate interests. So if we're going to have this conversation, let's have an honest conversation about the source of funds. I am not a multimillionaire. I can't self-fund my campaign. My opponent has put $6 million of their own funds into the campaign. The overwhelming majority of the funds for this campaign come from middle-class taxpayers. The overwhelming majority is from regular folks. Less than 20% is the real estate industry. And so I have been laser focused in 30 years of my career on the individual taxpayer, because that's where I just developed my passion for this work, was in conversations on front lawns with homeowners who are going to lose their homes. And so they have been the North Star of my existence from the beginning, including leaving the county assessor's office 6 years short of my pension eligibility date and taking a $30,000 pay cut to be able to leave an assessment system that I knew was causing harm and go to an assessment system where I knew I could advocate for average taxpayers. So I would say, judge me by the totality of my career. In 30 years, I have been laser focused on the residential taxpayer. And when I'm talking in this campaign, I've always talked about lowering rates, lowering residential tax bills. It is the laser focus of my work.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard from Pat Hynes. You've heard from Fitz Cahey. Do your research. The polls in Chicago, early voting begins on Thursday, tomorrow.
Amazing.
So let's vote. Let's check it out and let's vote. Pat, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Indeed. We'll be back right after Candace tells us what's in the news.
More of the morning show with Rufus Williams coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
I'm Candace McCollum, and here's what's happening in your local news. Mayor Brandon Johnson says he will not refer
when your body needs real nourishment
involving allegations of misconduct by federal immigration agents to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. Perry Williams has more.
The mayor said his executive order that attempts to hold ICE agents accountable doesn't specify whether he'll play a role in determining which case should be prosecuted.
It's a matter of ensuring that the evidence is there and that the state's attorney, once that evidence is received, can decide if they're going to move forward with an investigation or prosecution.
Johnson's comments follow criticism by Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke, who said the order would politicize investigations, which would jeopardize her office's ability to secure convictions. I'm Perry Williams.
In other news, Governor Pritzker is joining a group of fellow Democratic governors who are boycotting a White House meeting with President Trump. Pritzker announced on social media that he will not be attending the dinner hosted by the National Governors Association next week in support of Colorado Governor Jared Polis and Maryland Governor Wes Moore. His decision comes after Trump disinvited Polis and Moore from the event. Pritzker called on his Republican colleagues to join the boycott. And Illinois and Chicago leaders are boasting about a record-breaking summer for tourism in the city. Governor J.B. Pritzker announced that the investment on tourism has created 130,000 jobs and billions of dollars in economic impact. The organization Choose Chicago has credited conventions, sporting events, festivals, concerts, as well as the restaurant scene. The group also mentioned there are many events in store going into 2006, which include the WNBA All-Star Game. I'm Candace McCollum, and that's what's happening in your news now on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity, imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
When your body needs real nourishment, don't settle for ordinary supplements. At the Aloe Shop, we believe wellness starts with nature. That's why our premium aloe and nutritional products are crafted with the highest standards, pure, potent, and made to support your health from the inside out. From digestion and energy to immune support, the Aloe Shop helps you feel your best every day. The Aloe Shop at 117 East 95th Street in Chicago. Call 866-256-3747 or reach us online at thealoeshop.com. Come on in and get healthy. Now available at Living Fresh Market in Forest Park and at Pete's Market throughout Chicagoland.
When you play the 7-time bingo multiplier instant ticket from the Illinois Lottery, you play with purpose. Over $1.5 million has been raised to help support Illinois Dream Fund Commission scholarships. Purchase one to help raise even more. Be smart, play smart. Must be 18 or older to play. Game odds available at IllinoisLottery.com.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
Hey, it's Cleopatra Draper. Join me for the Midday Show weekdays at 9 a.m. where we'll sip and spill all the tea. Do you want it hot or cold? Either way, we're serving up the flavor of the day. Weekdays at 9 a.m. right here on the station giving you what's now and what's next. 1690 WVON.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle Cox started Blindster in his garage back in 2010. Since then, they've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters nationwide. Their blinds are DIY friendly, guaranteed to fit, and always cheaper than big box stores. Blindster.com.
Keep your eyes on the road and both hands on the steering wheel. We will not be held responsible for any accidents. It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. It just keeps moving. Joining me in the studio this morning is none other than Jahmal Cole, the founder of My Block, My Hood, My City. Jahmal, I have to tell you, Titus was upset because he usually wears his sweatshirt. Don't take that one.
Okay.
Because he usually takes his sweatshirt. They're just tearing up my Facebook. If you're watching my own Facebook page, you're not watching it anymore. but anyway, Jahmal Cole is here, founder of My Block, My Hood, My City, along with Xavier Ramey, who you know from a whole bunch of places, but most recently for the last number of years, you've been doing Justice Informed. Yep. And Jahmal, you're doing a bunch of stuff. So talk first about My Block, My Hood, My City, and then roll us into what you're doing with this ripple effect too.
Well, thank you for having us, man. Appreciate you. My block, my hood, my city. We're like the Red Cross of the hood. And so our mission is to take care of people no matter what. We work with about 85 block clubs on the south and west side of Chicago, and whatever they need, we roll it out for them, man. It could be in a heat wave. We bring water and fans, snowstorms, we shovel snow. We just adapt to whatever's going on in society. I love it. Going great. I'm living in a new community every month, trying to understand the needs of neighborhoods and trying to build relationships. And so it's called Live 77. Every month I live in a new Airbnb.
Yeah, how long have you been doing that now?
This is month 13. Yep, month 13. So month 1, I was in South Shore. Month 2, I was in Pullman. Month 3, I was in Uptown. Month 4, I was in Humboldt Park. Month 5, I was in Rogers Park. Month 6, I was in Portage Park. Month 7, I was in Chicago Lawn. Month 8, I was in North Lawndale. Shout out to Xavier. Month 10, I was in what's it called? Brighton Park. Month 11, I was in Hegewisch. Month 12, I was in Chinatown. Month 13, I'm in Bridgeport. And so 77 more months on the road.
Man, you got to month 10 before you even stumbled at all.
Just
rolling them off.
Made me nervous a little bit.
That was good.
Yeah.
What are you learning?
I'm learning that Chicago's segregated, very segregated. But when I'm sitting down having kitchen table discussions with people, most people are just trying to raise their family the best they can, trying to run their small business the best they can. And also, that's a staged answer. Look, the main thing that I feel like I've learned is people say North Lawndale was poor. It's very poor. When I got there, I found out to be rich. It was rich in connections, rich in trust. It felt like there was a fabric that existed between nonprofit organizations. They wasn't letting people in they didn't trust. Like all the nonprofits I felt like were communicating. I don't see that in Chicago Lawn. Like there's nonprofits on one side of 63rd and Chicago Lawn that have been there for 10 years that don't even know nonprofits on the other side of the street on 63rd, But in North Lawndale, I felt like there was a fabric that exists. I'm learning that there's only so much virtual trust you can build in the world, but when you actually show up and touch people face to face, that you build better trust and real connections. So when they need something, Jahmal, I just saw him last month. And so I want to build these real relationships as I go through communities.
Great. The last thing I want to do is to segregate us more, but I'll simply say the West Side is the best side. Come on.
It's the only side that rhymes with West. West and best. What's South Side rhyme with?
Just got to say it.
South, big mouth. What we got going on today, Rufus?
Xavier, talk about what you've been up to. Tell us about Justice Informed.
Sure. So I'm the CEO and founder of Justice Informed. It's a social impact consulting firm. We work coast to coast, basically just trying to annoy the Trump administration. Much of the work.
Your very presence annoys the Trump.
I mean, I'm very clear about what I'm here for. A lot of the work around organizational design and relational design as it relates to diversity, equity, inclusion. My firm has been the one that stood that up in several Fortune 500s. We advise executives across the country, health equity funds out in the Rockies, large philanthropic organizations. We were part of launching a $40 million reparations fund, all types of work around equity and the way in which we can make America not just honest, but productive for the people who've been marginalized. Second thing I do is, and I think this might be new to you, Rufus, but I'm the director of the Chicagoland DEI Alliance. So it's the largest network of diversity, equity, inclusion officers, coordinators, managers, executives who are committed to the work across the 6 counties surrounding Cook County. We got about 300 or so members. And right now my job is to keep them safe, keep them engaged, and make sure that we are on the front line until this pendulum swings back so that we can resume the work of advancing inclusion.
So much to talk about there because people aren't afraid yet to come out and say that they're still doing.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are. If you go to the website right now, you'll only see my name. Right now, behind all those members, that's why I said the first thing we're focusing on keeping our members safe. This work is not illegal. What is illegal is the discrimination that we are now facing to advance the work of inclusion for people who've been discriminated against. We've got a lot of lawyers, we got a lot of practitioners, we got a lot of executives, we got a lot of support behind this. And if you look at much of the headlines, I think much of it is also false. Most folks are behind this work, and many executives as well are behind this work, though it has reorganized under different labels, it has been reshifted under different departments, and it has shown up differently in strategy.
Is Target with you? Don't answer.
We don't talk Target.
don't answer.
We don't talk Target.
That's why they got in trouble.
We don't talk Target.
So Jahmal, my block, my hood, my city wasn't enough for you. Going out, living in all these neighborhoods wasn't enough for you. Picking up garbage, cleaning up snow, doing all these things wasn't enough for you. Talk to me about the Ripple tool.
Yeah, so guys got a battery in my back, and so but when I started my block, my hood, my city, Xavier was one of the people that I went to for advice. Like, this is one of the people I look up to, one of the people I admire. I might be older than this dude, but I just always admired him. But when I wanted to be, I knew from watching the movie Malcolm X growing up, I was going to be an activist. I watched the movie so many times. I thought Denzel Washington was Malcolm. I knew I was going to speak.
He's not?
No. I knew I would be speaking in front of beauty supply stores. I knew I'd be mad at the currency exchange for having a bulletproof glass windows when they really robbing us. I knew I would be speaking in Chatham and speaking in communities, and I wanted to educate myself. And so throughout the years, I've been picking up relationships with folks like Xavier and hearing him speak, and folks like Dion and folks like Christian Perry. And I was like, man, like, we need to all get on the same stage. I'm tired of waiting for us to get booked to speak. What we have to say is important. Instead of waiting, Xavier just got back from Colorado. Dion is in Mexico right now. Christian's going to LA this weekend. I'm booked to speak in Indiana, of all places, in Bloomington later on this month. I'm scared to drive down there. You know what I mean? So instead of waiting for us to get booked to speak at all these stages, I'm like, man, let's build our own stage. And that's where, the Ripple Effect Tour came into place. A lot of people don't know what to do right now. They are scared to come outside. They don't know if they're going to come back home. And these leaders that Xavier, Jahmal, myself, Dion, we actually have evidence of solutions. Like we've raised $50 million collectively together. We've started social impact organizations. If you want to listen to somebody, listen to the leaders with evidence as opposed to folks that are just, armchair activists online. And so that's why I got us all together.
It's good to have you two here, but you mentioned Dion and you mentioned Christian.
Yeah.
And tell the folks about that.
Yeah. I'll take CP, and Xavier's best friend is Dion, and they argue all the time. So I'll let them talk about Dion.
Xavier argues. It's amazing.
No. I conversate vigorously.
So Xavier is the David Ruffin of the group, and I would say that who would Dion be? He's the Otis. Yes, he'd be Otis, and I'm
Jahmal is blue.
Okay, and I'll be Eddie. What is his name?
Eddie.
Don't
do it, bro. Don't do it. Don't. No, bro. That falsetto, that little peep. We're not here for that, bro.
I can do it. Yo, okay.
You off the tour, man.
Anyway, man. So CP, he's the director of politics for Mayor Brandon Johnson, but I know him as a Christian. His name is Christian. I know him. He's the godfather of my son. He is he can speak off the top of his head. He arouses enthusiasm. He will pray for you in the middle of the morning. He could be a basketball coach if he wanted to. He's just the person that I really believe in, and he has a message, and he wants to he loves to advise political people. And so when I ran for Congress, he was one of the people that advised me, like, hey, Jahmal, I know you want to get into politics. Let's meet every day at 7:00 in the morning and talk about policy. I couldn't stand it. I said, listen, man, I'm not trying to talk about what's going on in Israel. I'm living on 79th and State, and I got to look over my shoulder when I'm pumping gas. But he was schooling me every morning. And so Christian, his purpose, he loves walking in his purpose with politics. And so he's going to be there if anybody wants to be to affect change in policy, Christian's going to be leading that charge on the stage on February 21st.
Yeah, we've also got Dion Dawson, who's the founder and CEO of Dion's Chicago Dream. That is a organization that's really taken Chicago by storm. I'm really proud of what Dion's done because, Rufus, you know this about me. Equity is the work of changing how systems are organized. If you look at food justice and food access, particularly for Black communities and brown communities, one of the challenges we often have is the ability to access fresh food, the ability to access more than the gas station for lunch, and more than a McDonald's for dinner. And so Dion stepped into that and he said, the problem is not just food. The problem is also the way we've structured our economy around food in the hood. And so he said, look, we've got these pantries, depositories, et cetera, where we're storing food that's donated by companies that don't need it. And then we're getting volunteers to come in to go distribute that food. Very few jobs are being created. Very little dignity is being had. And so he started Dion Chicago's dream to interrupt that. And one of the things he said to me the other day, it really blew me away because I was like, that's a powerful statement, bro. And from a Black man, that's something that's also very unique. He said, Xavier, we've gotten up to $5 million in 4 years. And we've got over 60 employees and we've never had one volunteer. And to be proud that nobody gave away time for free and everybody was paid for their time, that mostly all he's hiring is the hood right now. That's something different. That's a different model. It's a different model for nonprofits. That's a social enterprise. Now, on top of that, he's seen the challenges around access to food and distribution. So then he built an app on top of that now he can work with distributors who need to take on the last mile delivery operations components of getting more food to other folks. So Dion's been dope in that. We also got Jahmal Cannon, who's the founder and executive director of The Block Chicago. Jahmal is a former Golden Gloves boxer. You don't want to catch him on the corner.
You want him on your team?
Yeah, I want him on my team. But Jahmal
pick you up at the same time, man.
Jahmal took the anger challenges he had as a young Black man, and he said, "Look, I'm gonna use boxing as a catalyst to teach ethics, to teach character, and also to make sure that these shorties are still in school." So he started The Block Chicago. Hundreds of kids go through his program, learning how to channel that physical energy that youth have into something constructive. I did train with these kids one time. Jahmal was like, "We got some new kid coaches that we're trying to train. X, would you come in and volunteer and just like be in the ring with them, man?" Them kids ran. I'm 6'5", 220, man. I was getting lapped up in that gym, and I'm also 40 years old, so it's a little bit different now, man. But shout out to Jahmal and shout out to all of the guys on the Ripple Tour.
Hey, that's the group. That's the team. You see where they fit in. The Temptations. These brothers are doing some things. The Ripple Effect Tour. You've met the two who are here. They've told you about the others who are involved. We'll talk about the tour itself when we come back right after this.
More of the morning show with Rufus Williams coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Attention families, mark your calendars for a magical day at Bronzeville Children's Museum. Join us as we celebrate the beloved legacy of Ella Jenkins with storytelling, crafts, music, singing, and face painting for kids of all ages. From 1 to 3 p.m., enjoy hands-on fun, colorful performances, and a chance to create memories that sing. Explore a musical journey with live performances, crafts, and a portrait of creativity your children will love. Bring the whole family to Bronzeville Children's Museum at 9301 South Stony Island Avenue, Chicago. Tickets are just $10 per person, worth every giggle. Save the date, Saturday, February 14th, 1 to 3 p.m. at Bronzeville Children's Museum for a joyful tribute to Ella Jenkins. Let's make this a day to remember. See you there.
A brand new year is the perfect time to set new goals, like letting your money make more money for you. Your financial future can start growing today. This is Hiram Malone, Vice President and Community President of United Fidelity Bank. Right now, we're offering a competitive 6-month CD term with a 4.20% annual percentage yield. That's a smart, secure way to make your money grow for you. Come and see my team today to open your high-yield United Fidelity CD at our Chicago flagship branch at 1701 West 87th Street. At United Fidelity Bank, we're not a big box bank. We're your neighbors, a team dedicated to exceptional customer service and personalized financial solutions tailored to your goals. Bank with us and get the experience you need and the service you deserve. Start earning more with United Fidelity Bank. Online, visit UnitedFidelity.com.
Rates are subject to change at any time. CDs renew automatically to a standard rate in effect at the time of renewal unless instructed otherwise. Member FDIC.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It's Rufus Williams.
This is not the America that we thought it was. Certainly not now. And whatever pushing has to go to reverse that, I'm sure that Keith Ellison and the others there in Minneapolis are doing it, because anything that's happening anywhere can happen right here to us. And there's no reason to believe in any way, shape, or form that you can be separated from it.
Weekdays at 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle Cox started Blindster in his garage back in 2010. Since then, they've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters nationwide. Their blinds are DIY friendly, guaranteed to fit, and always cheaper than big box stores. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Chicago, good Wednesday morning. It is February 11th, and our update begins on the Edens, the Lake Cook to Montrose. A 17-minute ride right now on the Kennedy O'Hare to downtown. A 55-minute trip. We are solid inbound between the Edens Junction and Randolph. The Stevenson Tri-State 2 DuSable Lakeshore Drive. You're looking at a 42-minute ride. Right now on the Dan Ryan 95th to downtown, 36 minutes. And if you're on I-57, I-80 to the Ryan, an 18-minute trip, slow moving inbound between 115th and the Dan Ryan. Your weather for today, overall, a pleasant day, mostly sunny and a high of 39. I'm Candace McCallum with an update on the roads on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
If you're not out of the bed yet, then what are you waiting for? It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on 1690 WVON.
When it's cold outside, I got the month of May. I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? Xavier and the Ripples. Xavier and the Ripples.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ripples.
I have in the studio with me the next iteration of the Temptations in the guise of Jahmal Cole and Xavier Raymond.
Slight temptation. Moderate
We're talking
temptation.
about them, the work that they do, the gentlemen they're working with, and the Ripple Effect Tour. Talk to us about the tour. When is it? Where is it? How can people get this knowledge and this lovely singing that I'm being
oh man, this
gifted
is
with?
it's so inspiring. Listen, y'all, it matters when Black men that are friends get together and do something positive.
Yeah.
February 21st at the Harold Washington Cultural Center at 7 o'clock, we're kicking off the Ripple Effect Tour. It is a 10-city national tour. We need people in Chicago to show up. But if you are tired of feeling helpless and be there in the room on February 21st. It's going to be a room full of solutions. We're not just gassing people up. We're not talking about the game like John Madden. We actually have evidence of presenting solutions to community and them working. And so it kicks off at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. We Lisa Beasley is our host, man. She was, she signed on last week. She she did a skit on Mayor Lightfoot. I don't know if you've seen her. She's a comedian. She was on Second City, HBO Max. She also did a skit with Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know if I can say her name right, but
close enough.
Yeah, Lisa Beasley is the truth, man. She's going to be our host, and she's going to bring some joy to the show. We all have our different words. My word is joy. So I'll be focused on joy and how joy is the most underrated violence prevention tool in Chicago. And when the city feels good about themselves, they're less likely to harm somebody else. And so I have all kinds of data showing that. I ain't going to give away too much, but I just want to let people know I'm talking about joy. Xavier has his own word. Dion has his own word. Jahmal has his own word, and so does Christian. But those are the themes of the show.
Yeah, I think one of the things to the overarching theme here is hope, right? And what we're trying to do is explore the many different facets of hope from the stage. And so, for instance, my message is going to be about the work of reckoning with the reality of why we're in the situation we're in and what does rebirth require. There's some honesty we have to have about the work that was done over the last decade as relates to elevating, amplifying, and protecting Black lives, whether that was through the activism in the streets, whether that's through protests, whether that through formal police reform, whether that was through structural DEI programming and pushing it into organizations. We need to have a reckoning about what didn't work and why it didn't work. We need to be very honest about the contributions and contributors to it, and then looking at where do we go from here. My message is really focused on Martin Luther King's last book, where he said, where do we go from here, chaos or community? And so I'm taking that very seriously also as a scholar of King, and bringing that to the stage with this message of what do we need to reckon with, what do we need to stop doing, and what can allow for a rebirth of hope such that it's more sustainable and not linked to any electoral calendar or any one politician. There's no savior coming for us right now. We got 3 more years of Donald Trump. We've got an American populace right now that is incredibly anti the work of equity and inclusion and these sorts of things. We have to be serious about what it's going to take, not just to replenish the ranks of people who are scared to do the work, but to actually have models that work once we're ready to do the work, when we have the unity to do it together.
If anybody is not a proponent of what Dr. King has said, I mean, I think he pretty much said everything already.
I mean, so much.
In a short time here, he got it said and got it done. People want to come to this event. How do they? What do they have to do? Yeah,
right now they can go to Jahmal Cole Enterprises. That's JAHMAL Enterprises.com, and just go to the ticket page. Go to all of our social media, Jahmal_Cole. Don't forget the H, y'all. But you can go right there and get right in the link tree of social media. You can purchase tickets. Go to Fox News. We're on the homepage there. Block Club Chicago.
Fox News Chicago, not Fox News. Not the Fox News Chicago, y'all.
Fox News
Chicago. They different over there.
Touche. But yeah, Block Club Chicago, they shouting us out. And yeah, man, just our social media and JahmalColeEnterprises.com. I'll pull up on you at this point, man. It's 500 seats at Harold Washington Cultural Center. We're trying to sell out. So I will pull up on you. Let me know. Meet me in Bridgeport, man, if you want to get some tickets.
And I'll just add this, especially if you're a leader in a nonprofit, if you're a leader of a corporate social responsibility team, if you're at a philanthropy and you have your staff, your young people, your partners, like, think about what this means to have an experience, and then afterwards chop it up with some food when you leave there. Think about what it means to start a corporate conversation with your peers, what it means to have young people in your nonprofit show up, sit there and listen to 5 established brothers who are coming to the stage with not just ideas, as Jahmal said, with evidence, so that they can see what future they're inheriting and what, when 20 years from now, we're all in our 60s, what we'll be looking to hand off.
Well, I am so encouraged by what you all are doing. Not surprised, because I know you from all the things that you've done, each and every one of you here. But thank you all for doing it. There's nothing, as we started off, it's nothing like what happens when Black men get together for a positive purpose. And this is what you all are doing. So good luck with the tour.
Thanks for
good luck with the Harold Washington Cultural Center. And thank you for coming in this morning and talking about it.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us.
Right. We're going to leave it right there for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate my guests who were here. Appreciate all the conversation, all the calls, all the comments on Facebook. And Candace, always appreciate you for giving us the information that gets us through the day. And T-Dub, a lot going on, but it's all in here today. So thanks for making it happen. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll ask you, as I always do, as you go through the course of the day, you will come across people who are dealing with things that you know absolutely nothing about. So please be kind, always. And with that, Candace, tell us what's in the headlines, and T-Dub, take us home.
I'm Candace McCollum, and here are your news headlines. Governor Pritzker joins other Democratic governors to boycott White House dinner. And